Hello. Yeah, he looks shit, and I can't draw, but it's probably preferable to seeing my actual face. Look, he's about as facial as me as well, except of course that I don't smile. That's quite enough of that. Obviously, I'll use my pointless point system, but you guys don't give a shit. For the purposes of this review, I have reread The Northern Lights, the original book that the film was based on, and oh my sweet fucking awesome, I forgot why I needed a TV or a computer at all. This book is just beyond all reason. His Dark Materials was always my favourite series of books. Harry Potter wasn't even in my top 3. But reliving the story of Lyra through the mind of Philip Pullman was like spending 3 days eating only bacon sandwiches and drinking golden syrup. It's like being given a baby griffin as a pet. Astoundingly beautiful, and at the same time filling you with curiosity, wonder, and amazement. And then the Golden Compass comes along. This is effectively what the film does to the book, and then shits on it. Christ alive, within the first 5 minutes of rewatching this train wreck I was already annoyed. Dakota Richards, who plays Laura Belacqua, and come to think of it, nearly every actor and actress chosen in this film at least looks the part. They seem to be what I was imagining when I read it. Well, mostly. The kid playing Roger looks like Cindy Lou Who from the Grinch film. Apart from Laura being almost a clear foot taller than the other children, the opening isn't too bad, but then you get an idea of the extras when you get a zoom-in close-up of one kid's face saying, "Don't Billy!" to Billy Costa with all the emotion of an autistic Vulcan eunuch. Yes, it's that important. You can't ruin a film with a blunder like that less than 2 minutes in. Apparently the term acting has a much broader meaning than I thought. By the way, I'm all for a bit of artistic license, but changing the first major plot point is a massive fucking no-no. I will now deploy my fully functional spoiler alarm. Enough warning? No? Tough. In the book, the first thing we see is the Master of Jordan College poisoning Lyra's uncle's drink, Lord Asriel's drink, which raises many questions. They're both friends and both good men. Is the Master working for someone, or is he doing what he thinks is right? Obviously, the film director saw this and thought, no, too complicated, let's bring in a clearly evil magistrate to poison his drink, thus removing all effect of the scene once it's finished. In the book, this moment is important throughout the whole thing, whereas in the film, they fucked it up in one fell swoop. Oh, and by the way, Daniel Craig, perfect choice for Lord Asriel, if a little too eager at times. And as right as Dakota seemed, after her first conflict with Lord Asriel, we start to see flaws in her acting style, as she is not very good at being upset, hurt, or sincere. Pantaleimmon's voice actor, however, is pretty good. Pantaleimmon's her demon. Read the book. And then we come on to a scene with Lyra and Roger talking on the roof. At this point, the term acting has spread to just about every corner of the known universe. This scene is appalling. The complete lack of naturalism between the two makes me want to seal my eyes and ears shut with lava. The only kid who even knows how to speak seems to be the kid playing Billy Costa. All the others act like they're coming off an anaesthetic and are trying to speak in a foreign language. On to the next major point. Nicole Kidman as Mrs. Coulter. Perfect. Right, that's that point covered. Next, we go on to the Bear King, Ragnar Sturluson. What the fucking fuck? You changed the name of the fucking Bear King, why? I don't think there's anything wrong with Jolfur Ragnarsson. It's authentic and ethnic, has a certain stateliness to it. Sounds nice and Scandinavian. Can you at least explain why? No? Oh, okay then. Fuck you. Oh. When Mrs. Coulter takes Lyra away, the Master could at least try and seem conflicted as opposed to giving up within 5 seconds. The argument lasted at least a page in the book. Next problem. Oi! Film! Billy Costa's demon is not called Ratter. I can remember the kid from the book whose demon was named Ratter, and if you do what I think you're going to do and change another massive plot point, then I'll be very cross with you. No, not yet. Let's give them a chance to change their error. One thing I loved from the book was the subtle hint about the fight between religion and science. In their universe, the religion is known only as the authority and has about as much hold as the church did about 500 years ago in ours. And the film amplifies this to an extent I feel reasonable, probably through the scene that Philip Pullman wanted to be added. It shows our relation to the Catholic Church in a darker but relatable light, i.e., them thinking they know what's best for everyone despite having no evidence or reasoning. Oh, and it has Christopher Lee in it. I'm going to list off the next few problems, and hopefully other things, again. The Master had no connection with the witches. The alethiometer is never actually referred to as the Golden Compass, as far as I'm aware. The Master doesn't tell Lyra what the alethiometer is, thus allowing us to discover it with her. Okay, in the book, the Master was cut off when talking to Lyra about Lord Asriel and the alethiometer. Again, so we join Lyra in our confusion of what she has to do with it. They cut this in the film. I'm only 20 fucking minutes in, and so far I've got a page and a half. At this rate, the review will be almost as long as the fucking film. More notes. Lyra is much more torn up about her best friend being kidnapped, although I can't tell whether that's down to Dakota, the director, or the writer. This universe has electricity, just under the name, and Barrack. It's the same thing, not blue magical fucking swirly lines. I have to say, they stick to the book quite well as far as Lyra's travels with Mrs. Coulter go. Oh, sorry. Just assume that the rest is all spoilers. I don't know whether it's worth bonus points just for getting it near right, but okay. And the reaction to Dust is nearish, I suppose. Oh, but Dakota is just becoming shit now. Lyra was a fiendish, clever and cunning little girl, not an irritating little brat. Missing out the party and rearranging the discovery of the gobblers is again wrong. Changing the escape so it's shit and there's no way that she could lie about it later, another important point. This film is leaving nothing to the mind. The point of the book is that you discover everything with Lyra and you learn to like her. This gives you everything on a plate and expects you to be challenged by it. Changing the relationship even slightly between Marcosta and Lyra. Shame on you. I'm almost at my wit's end. The guy playing the clearly evil magistrate is shit. Although the Lord Asriel fight scene is kinda cool, again it shows us him being kidnapped as opposed to just finding it out with Lyra. Completely ignoring the Egyptian part with the Fens and the clan meetings, which was awesome. Lord Farr hitting the table with a hammer with all the constrained power of a harnessed rabbit. Okay, so I'm being picky now, but the little things are what made the book the epic journey that it was, not this shit. Quickly, something positive. Eva Green as Serafina Pekkala. She's hot. However, completely ruining the subtlety of her complex relationship with Father Coram and having her there, not her demon, because she's supposed to be busy, being the clan queen and all, and having her and Lyra meet before getting to the place with the witch's consult and contacts her, quite a big character who's probably been removed. Calling the gobblers child cutters before we found out that they're fucking child cutters. They just aren't learning. Lyra suddenly becoming fluent reading the alethiometer with no explanation. Okay, the whole bit without the witch's consort, leading to Lyra understanding the alethiometer, Pekkala and Father Coram's relationship, explanation of the witches, and leading to Yorick Burnison. Ian McKellen as Yorick Burnison. Deal with it, this is my point system. The CGI bears looking awesome. Dakota still being shit. Just Ian McKellen's voice. But hang on, changing the exile story from killing a bear because of Mrs. Coulter's influence to just being defeated. Chris Wheats, fuck you. Missing out the bit where Pantaleimon forces Lyra to talk to Yorick by pulling her in, thus setting up the explanation as to why people can't go far from their demons, and what happens when they do, thus setting up why the scene with the fucking ghost child, and the scenes in the place where they're going to rescue the fucking children, are so fucking important! Lyra crying for no reason, and the annoying way she says, Yorick Burnison. Yorick Burnison in his armour. Lee Scoresby being awesome. Lyra being shit. John Farr and Father Coram being nowhere near as important. You left out the bit about not being able to trick a bear unless he's acting like a human, so none of the scenes between Yofa and Yorick make any sense. Going back to the point I made earlier about Billy Costa's demon not being called Rata, hey film, fuck you, I knew you were going to do this, you removed Tony Macarius from the film altogether, you pricks. Yes, he's only in for about 5 pages, but he's arguably one of the most important characters. The fact that the kid dies in the book is supposed to be a turning point for Lyra. Stop fucking with the book, you fucks. Billy Costa doesn't even have the common decency to die. You just wanted to get rid of the only child in this film who couldn't act. I hate you so much. Next point, the Samoyeds kidnapping her to take her to Bolvangar, not the fucking Ice Bear Kingdom. You've skipped half a fucking act. I hate you. Changing Yofa Ragnarson's backstory. I'm not calling him fucking Ragnar. Now here's something which always pissed me off throughout the book. Lyra's accent changes a bit as she goes from being raised by the college, posh, and being with Egyptians, not posh. But Dakota can't seem to choose between the two. She just keeps skipping through at a whim. How dare you even be in the same film as Ian McKellen? The fight between Yorick and Yofa. They're supposed to be agile, but making them move as fast as they did looks ridiculous and poos all over the film. I'm actually getting bored of swearing. You know what? Fuck that. Getting rid of the scene with the detached demons, which is also really fucking important. Not explaining that it's a taboo to touch another person's demons, so when it happens, nobody gives a shit. The thing is, I've left out so much, it's actually ridiculous. So for all the other bits where you change the story so that it doesn't work. Oh, and leaving out the bits about the Bible just in case you offended anyone. You puffs. But Eva Green showing a bit of leg. But missing out the brilliant ending to the book. Why did you even say it was based on the book? You fucked with it so much, you might as well have just said it was a film in its own right. In fact, if you had, it probably would have been hated marginally less. I still can't quite understand how you managed to get such a brilliant cast and then still fuck it up. Actually, no, I can. If you're going to do a film based on the book, stick to the fucking book. Most people who hated it because they'd read the book, and it was an abomination compared to it. Well, intelligent people hated it for that reason. Stupid people hated it because there was the mildest of mild religious insults in the middle of it. This film caused a bit of controversy because in one frame there is a Byzantine symbol. Shows you how tetchy the Americans are about their precious religion, that they think a small film could cause such an uproar that it needed to be threatened and boycotted. Did kind of prove Philip Pullman right though, didn't it? One thing that I thought was quite funny was that one particular sect of a particular religion boycotted the film because of that one frame, because of that Byzantine symbol, and then they claimed that they were the reason that the film did so bad. No, the film did so bad because it was shit. One other point that I raised was that they changed the name of Jofur Raknison to Ragnar Sturluson, and the reason that they did this is because they thought the names Jofur Raknison and Yorick Burnison were too similar. That might have been excusable if the actors playing the characters weren't called Ian McKellen and Ian McShane. Anyway, thanks for watching. I did have a cold in some of the bits when I was doing the voiceover, but considering it took me like 10 months to get to this point, I really could not be asked to re-record it, so I might do another one if I can be asked. If not, you'll have to deal with it. So